hope you don't have diarrhea since Easter's. But most of all,
I can't. I just can't.
family, friends.
That one got me.
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. Hey, you probably are, and that's why we like you. Another fun episode. Weeded bourbon is on the table today. We're going to be drinking Old Fitz Fall 2024 release. That's the 11yr that was recently put out. We're excited to drink it, and huge shout out to one of our favorite Patreon and supporting general awesome people, Ben Klepsig, who accepted a nice trade for samples of his recent purchase of the Old Fitz. So before I get into anything else, let's talk about some business. I'm going to go over this one again. Let's tell your friends. Tell your friends. That's how a lot of our great listeners have been found. Tell your friends. Your friends will love them. They'll tell their friends. And soon we'll be at 500 subscribers on YouTube one of these days. So we're almost at 300, believe it or not. That's a little sad. We really picked up the YouTube game a little late in the game, but that's okay. That's okay. We're getting there. We're not faking it till we make it. We're just doing it. And then we're getting some more and more here and there. So, and we're growing. So that's the business for this week. Subscribe and tell your friends. So that's what I got. Bryan, first, what are you entry buzzing on? And then
yes,
how's life and stuff?
First, let me just say you've triggered my memory of Wayne's World reference where Wayne is like, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on, and so on. And like the movie video like chops into 2 frames and then chops into 4 frames and then chops into 8 frames.
That's funny. Sounds like a multi-level marketing thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I don't even remember what it was in reference to.
They share it when they sell what you're selling. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. What is YouTube subscriber count if not MLM? No, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, so what am I entry buzzing on? I'm entry buzzing on what Ben Klepsig is receiving by having sent us each some of the Old Fitzgerald. I've got 2 different Old Fitzes here. So
one green, one black.
Yeah, well, so spring is green, yeah, and so I've got
that's
the
correct.
10-year spring 24 and the 8-year fall 23 here.
Nice.
The 8-year fall 23 is the one with the great story about how I won that lottery that one time where I was like, hey, can I enter that lottery real quick before you pull names? And they gingerly set my name on the top of the pile. and then I saw somebody else come over to start drawing names and he just took the ticket right off the top.
Beautiful. What was the one I got you?
The 10-year.
Okay. Was that the black one?
That is the green one. The green one is the 10-year spring 24.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
24,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And then Ben's is the next one in the line, the fall 24, the 11-year. So really, I'm drinking 3 in a row here. Actually, that's what I'm going to be doing. But I did do one more. I know, right? I did do one. Yeah, I haven't eaten anything at all today. This is going to be good. I am doing one more experiment here in the whiskey shaman glass here. I took some Larceny barrel proof, and I calculated the how much water to add to bring it down to 100 proof.
Nice.
So in addition to some old
milliliters.
Funny enough, my scale wasn't grams, so I just used grams. But anyway, I used my sweet Glencairn pipette, and I just did this about 10 times to get enough in there.
Hey,
but yeah, I have Old Fitzgerald 11yr going on and some Larceny going on here for my entry buzz. What about you?
I am drinking something that I love, a weeded bourbon I enjoy.
Wilderness Trail.
And what's that?
Wilderness Trail.
Well, no, I do love Wilderness Trail weeded bourbon. Yeah. No, but I still had this much of the old rip that you sent from 2023 for our Christmas episode. So I was like, hey, that's weeded. I enjoyed the Buffalo Trace weeded mash bill.
Dude, I liked I liked that Old Rip so much more than I expected. It's got this like twangy, maybe not rye spice, but some sort of twangy herbal spice that like lands right at the front. I liked that a lot.
It's got nice. This was my first sip as I just did that. It's got a really nice green apple note, which I get a lot on Weller and like weeded Buffalo Trace mash bill products. Is good.
I could see the green apple tartness being like the twangy that I was mentioning, and I could totally see that being the same thing. Yeah.
What are you doing for Easter's?
Oh, Easter's.
Do you not realize that I have had diarrhea since Easter's?
We are doing nothing for Easter's because like very shortly afterwards we traveled to New Zealand. So we're basically packing, getting everything ready for New Zealand. It's gonna be good.
And your parents, are they taking Emma down to Tucson, or your in-laws, or are they staying up here, or staying up at your place in Phoenix?
Yeah, they're gonna stay here at our place. Yep. So yeah, they have graciously
they don't
agreed
party too hard, Jim.
I know. Yeah, right.
No, they'll probably wrestle an alligator in the dining room, knowing Jim Crocodile Dundee Mathwig.
Yeah, if one shows up in the pool, we'll know it. It'll get taken care of for sure. But yeah, they graciously agreed to watch Emma while we go. So we are doing a kidless trip to New Zealand.
That's going to be fun. Are they going to take advantage of the nanny?
Yeah, definitely. So they'll have their hands free-ish on Thursday and Friday for sure.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
That's I have to watch my girls. We're recording on a Wednesday. I have to watch them for Good Friday because both of them have school off this Friday. So we'll be doing a daddy girl date. But not, I like to be careful how I throw that phrase around, because like they're sacred in the Sebald household. You don't just say like, hey, let's hang out, let's do a daddy daughter. No, you like plan. You like think about what to do, and you execute a nice daddy daughter date. You don't just say, hey, I guess we'll call it that. No.
Right.
No. So I am planning on one next weekend after Easter's. Yeah.
It requires much more than just hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. It's intentional. That's a daddy daughter date. It's intentional. It's not like, oh, you happen to find yourself in a hangout situation. Yeah. So,
and it's more than just going to the ABC store.
Yeah, and yeah. So okay, one of my rules for daddy daughter dates is that I can't do things I want to do that Beck won't want to do. Yeah. For example, like going to the ABC store, even if it's a quick thing. And I made one exception one time to go to a ABC store in the area we were hanging out. And then we get home, and that's the first thing Beck says to my wife is, we went to an ABC store. I'm like, no, we did so many fun things.
Oh, that's so
but
great.
She's like, no, we went to an ABC store. I'm like, oh no. And so I decided that I must double down on that, what do you call it? A conviction. Yeah. That daddy-daughter dates are for daughter, not for daddy. But for
darter.
Darter. Yeah. So, that'll be next weekend. And I'll let you know when you come back from your nice vacation.
Yeah. Very good.
How long are you out again? 14 days or something?
Yeah, it's almost 2 weeks. Yeah, nice. Almost 2 weeks. It's a little more than a week and a half, I think.
Yeah. That's why we recorded at least one extra episode.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll have a guest on or something. Still haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
I had I mentioned on, I guess, the way that this is going to air, it'll be the episode after this one. I mentioned that I had a whole day where it was just Emma and me. But I neglected to tell you the best, and by best I mean worst, part of the day. So she was totally due for a poop, man. She was like,
ready,
it had been like
teaming.
too long. Yeah. So I knew it was coming, knew it was going to happen. So I get her in the high chair. We're about to eat some food, and I get the food all mixed up. I get everything ready to go, and I get the little bib on her, and I'm like literally about to feed her the first bite. And I hear, and I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead and take care of that. I'll put the food to the side, So like, I gave her a couple minutes. Don't act too fast. But I tell you, when I was ready to pick her up, I took the tray away, and I lifted her up out of the high chair, and then there was just this like waterfall down her leg. So I lift her up from the high chair, and that happens. So it's like starts dripping on the high chair, and I'm like, and I like move her off to the side, and then I realize it's like dripping down to the floor, and then I'm like, and put her back on the high chair, and then I'm like, oh wait, there I put like a mat down. The mat's probably better than the high chair. So I'm like, and I move back over to the mat, and I stand there for a couple seconds, and I'm like, I gotta just go for it. So I just like started beelining across the house to the bathroom where like her nice like changing setup is. And so she's dripping from the foot, but she's like, I'm holding her out in front of me, and she's looking at me, and I'm like racing across the house, and she's all like excited. So her leg is like kicking. So all these little drops are getting like kicked off to the side,
the wall and stuff.
I am being so I'm not embellishing what happened in the story, but it didn't get as dirty as I'm making it sound like.
But there were like scar you.
There were dots, like, but the thing is, there weren't just dots in a trail. There were dots like scattered like 3 feet.
Yeah, there was noise in this
exactly
time series pattern we see.
Right. Yeah, it was not a clean line plot. Yeah. Anyway, there were that was fun. That was the best part of my day, and I just had to share that story.
One time, so recently, like a month or two ago, Beck had a stomach thing. Luckily, it wasn't probably not a virus because no one else got it, but she threw up, and she came downstairs, and she's like, I don't feel good. And I'm like, oh, why don't you like rest on my chest? Because I was on the couch and I was reading that morning. And so she rests on me. She's like, I don't feel good. And I'm like, and I can see like probably she's going to like throw up soon. And so I'm like, all right. And I like kind of lift her up. And it was probably like too fast. But it probably wasn't like jerking her around or anything like that. But I was just like, hey, if you're going to barf, you're going to barf on the table here and not the couch.
If you're going to spew.
Spew
into this. That's another Wayne's World
exactly.
Reference.
It's a Wayne's World reference. That's funny. But I was like, hey, if you're going to barf on the table. And so I kind of just flipped her around and like held her over the table because the table's like fake, wood laminate something. And we can clean that off easily. But the couch on the other hand. And so, or the carpet would be a pain. And then the funny thing is that later in that morning, my wife was doing the same thing and didn't pull the move that I pulled. And then it got all over the couch. So we had to get the couch cleaned and everything like that. So,
man, again, later that morning. Oof.
Yeah. But then she was fine for the most part. But then the funny thing is that since then she's been complaining about her tummy, but it's usually at convenient times for her when she's not ready to go to bed or when she doesn't want to eat a little more or something like that, where she'll say like, hey, my tummy hurts. And we're like, well, we can't like just deny you and, none or, like just say you're wrong.
Just ignore it or whatever.
Yeah, because it is a big deal if it is a big deal, but she's kind of playing wolf or crying wolf a little bit. But did I tell you about the what was it recently? Did I tell you about monsters? Was that on the one-off episode?
I don't think so.
So Beck's been a little scared of monsters lately.
Yeah.
And she came down like terrified one morning And she says, I'm really scared of the monsters up in my room. And I'm like, oh, there's no such thing as monsters. Just get over that, And I looked it up, and it's not a good thing to do. You can't just invalidate them. Yeah, because we both know, of course, there's no such thing in most contexts.
Totally. Sure.
Yeah. Except for ghosts. Ghosts are different. So I looked it up and asked actually Google Gemini. I was like, what do I do about my daughter and monsters? And Gemini was like, yeah, what you don't want to do is that is kind of just, like invalidate and just say like, no, everything you're thinking is wrong and you have no reason to be afraid. Because in her mind, she isn't able to differentiate right now. And I don't want to just be like, hey, stop being scared, like stuff like that. It's not a good way to go. Yeah. So one of the things that we were recommended was to 3 things practically. One was to get something that'll like cast the monsters away. And so we got this like little spray bottle. I got it. I used to use it for spraying absinthe on my Sazerac cocktail glasses. But I replaced it with some minty water, basically. And it's the monster spray. And we'll spray it 3 times. And it smells minty. And she'll be like, smelling it. And she'll know that keeps the monsters away. And then secondly, we had a stuffed animal. Actually, one you're somewhat familiar with is the one of those stuffed monsters that we have. It's a cute little thing. It's nothing scary.
Oh, don't tell me Mr. Popito something.
Oh, close. It's Albertito is the orange one.
Albertito.
But she has so the cute little blue one, which is named Happy. And Happy is the specific monster that fends off the monsters and protects her. And then we did one more thing. We always before bedtime, we will check the closet. We'll check behind her little couch. We'll check under her bed, under her wardrobe, and, make her feel as safe as possible before bedtime. And it's really been helpful. Instead of just saying, oh, you don't need to worry about that because that's not real. So that's, let that be a lesson to anyone who has kids that is just figuring out that maybe monsters are a fear thing and, whatever. But I'm sure most of our listeners have already been past that. But maybe not you. Yeah. So
yeah, not me.
So that's been actually good. Like, and she feels, you could tell she's like that next morning when she first brought it up, she didn't want to go back upstairs because she probably had like a bad dream or something. And so she was like shaking, my wife said, like out of fear when she had to go upstairs at one point. We're like, all right, we got to address this. So that's when we started to get advice and stuff. So yeah, no more shaking babies.
Yeah.
Just put that
Chill Filtered, the podcast where we don't shake babies.
We don't shake babies here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anything fun new with you otherwise?
Oh yeah. I had a good day the other day. Ended up hanging out with Bryan Duncan all day, like completely impromptu.
Nice.
It was Friday. We went to Total Wine. Just I don't even know why. I think I had the Friday off of work, and I was like, sure, whatever.
Nice.
And after that, he was like, hey, what are you doing? He had a bottle for me, and he was like, hey, I forgot to give you this. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get my tires replaced in Queen Creek. If you want to like come down there, my appointment's at like 10:15. And it was like, come pick me up. We'll just like go across the street.
You just hung out while your car was being looked at.
Yeah, totally. So he comes down to pick me up. Well, hang on.
Go ahead. Keep going.
He picked me up, and like when I got in the car, I pulled my phone out, and I see a text from somebody who said, "Hey, Costco got a bunch of Jack 14 in." Like Costco in North Scottsdale got like 58 Jack 14s in this morning.
Holy
so
cow.
I was like, holy crap. I was like, what do you have to do today? What do you want to do? And he was like, we're going to North Scottsdale. So we just like flew up to North Scottsdale. It took like 45 minutes to get up there. Because if you know Phoenix, you know it takes forever to get across town. We did not make it in time, unfortunately. I know, yeah.
But it was fun.
But yeah, no, it was great. So we got all the way up there. You know, I even saw some people that I'd seen recently, that like new friends that I'd seen at Total Wine and other places in Costco. So it's kind of funny just to see other people who were, you know, as late as we were and everything. But anyway, we left Costco and Bryan was like, hell, while we're up here, we may as well go to some of the other places that I go to in North Scottsdale. So we went up to like a couple different stores and stuff and just popped in and ended up, you know, chatting with managers in stores for a while. And then we were on our way back down and we were like, you want to go get a pizza at Trevor's? So we went and got lunch at Trevor's, got a very good pizza.
While in Scottsdale. Yeah.
Dude, I know. Yeah. God, they got this pizza that's like pepperoni and this like spicy pepper jam on it.
Nice.
It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, we got like a large.
You don't get that kind of crap in Richmond, Virginia.
What, pizza like that?
No, you do, but like I just am sad that I don't live in Phoenix right now.
Oh, I see. Well, let me just tell you all my good stories to make you feel a little worse about that. But anyway, very good pizza at Trevor's. And but no, nothing. We didn't find any bottles or anything. They didn't have anything behind the counter that was worth grabbing or anything. But you know what? Funny, you know, we didn't buy this, but they have one of those Wyatt Earp bottlings that's like $300+ and it's like 160 proof American single malt, something ridiculous.
Oh wow.
It sounds insane. It sounds like why would I ever buy this without trying it
on the far end of the spectrum. Yeah,
for sure. But they had one of those behind the counter, and anyway, it was interesting to see that. But that's it. We pretty much just headed back after that. But you know, like driving all over Scottsdale, it took all day. So like I didn't get back to like 3 or 4.
Oh wow. That's cool though.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I assume Sam wasn't single-handedly, like I assume that Emma was in daycare or nanny time. Perfect.
Yeah, it was a Friday and they weren't even at our house. So yeah, it was like as long as I get home by 3:30, everything's fine.
Nice. There's an old phrase that I used to like to say, and it's I mandate for a mandate. So it's always a good time hanging out with a dude, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So
and that was the day before Sam went to Tucson to leave me with Emma the full daddy daughter day, the diarrhea running down the leg day. So anyway, that was that it was good because like I had Friday where I just, you know, hung out with Bryan and got pizza and did nothing all day. It was great.
Yeah. That's sweet. It sounds like a great Friday. I need a day off. That's what I need.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm getting the day off on Friday, but just got to watch the girls all day.
Oh,
I need a real day off.
Are you actually like PTO and everything on Friday?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
Nice. So it's a literal day off. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. But it's a day on, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Make
right.
it a day on.
Yeah.
No, but I've only used I want to say like 1 PTO day this year.
Wow. Do you have a defined number of days, or
I get 18 PTO, 5 sick. And if I really wanted to use a sick day for a PTO day, I could probably get away with it.
Right. Yeah.
So and I take half days every now and then. So like, and I don't even put it in the system. I just have my own spreadsheet that I use, and they're cool with that. They're like, yeah, you don't need to really input it anywhere. You just track it. We trust you.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice that it's like a trusted thing, you know. My work had a thing. Oh, interesting. Are there people that can't be trusted?
I'm sure there are managers who just don't trust. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, the old manager discretion. Yeah. Yes. My work sent out a survey recently about like, you know, benefits and stuff. And one of the questions was, do you like having just one massive bucket of PTO accrual, or would you rather have sick hours and vacation hours? But they did not at all
paid back.
Yeah, well, yeah, they did not at all say like, "Oh, and you get a little more sick hours," like it.
Yeah.
So it's like, who in their right mind would vote like, "Yes, please please designate my vacation hours." It just like assuming that it all still like the total number of time off does not increase.
Yeah.
Why would I want my hours separated? I feel like, feel like the only reason they asked that question is so that they could like point to it in the future. Like, well, you guys said you will just like one bucket of hours. It's like, well, you didn't give me an option to say like, maybe give us a little more hours for times that we're like legitimately sick. But anyway, rant over, short rant, but over.
Yeah, that's funny. I had a random thought before we go to our break. Did you ever get to go to the Green Corner, the restaurant in like besides work?
So you remember that one time that my work catered in Green Corner for some client luncheon or something, and I got to try it, and I was very impressed, and it was delicious. But otherwise, I have not gone to the Green Corner by myself yet.
Dude, you gotta go. You gotta take the wife and the daughter.
Yeah,
it's
Mother's Day coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that.
Now there's one in Mesa, but there's one in there's one in like Ocotillo area, Chandler.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I think
the only one I've been to both, and both were good. I think I preferred the Chandler one, and it was. I mean, it's sort of near. That's not really sort of near your work. It's more like.
It's a couple miles away, I think.
Yeah. It's probably not that far. It's probably like 3 or 4 miles. Yeah.
I think it is just nice.
I want to say it's like a little east of Dobson. What's the road east of Dobson?
Arizona Avenue 87.
Yeah, it's probably near like Arizona and Queen Creek.
That sounds about right.
yeah, or whatever that one is. But anyway, let's go to break. Greek food sounds amazing right now. I don't even think we have any good Greek options here in Richmond. Yeah, you should eat. But we'll be right back. We'll talk about John E. Fitzgerald, old Fitzgerald, and all that crap. It's going to be great. Check it out on the other side of this quick break. Bryan, to be honest, how many times have you opened the freezer only to find one pathetic ice cube staring back at you?
Too many times to count, Cole. It's like the universe is conspiring to keep me warm drinks cold.
Well, say hello to Galileo's self-refilling ice tray. It's the only ice tray that never, ever runs dry.
Self-refilling? Are we talking witchcraft or just really ambitious engineering?
A perfectly scientific blend of nano condensation coils and moonlight infusion. We're sticking to the marketing copy that pulls moisture from the air to churn out fresh ice cubes on demand.
So my cocktail will never sulk into room temperature disappointment again?
Never. And each tray comes with a cheeky little plaque that reads, "Stand back, I'm chillin'," courtesy of Galileo's great-great-grandniece.
I love it. It's like my freezer has its own mini Antarctic expedition without the frostbite.
Galileo's self-refilling ice tray, because you deserve a love affair with cold. And trust me, this one never melts on you.
Available wherever slightly ridiculous but totally necessary gadgets are sold. Seriously, treat yourself.
All right, we're back. Some quick notes to get to. Shout out to Dan McMillan. Give this guy a ding because he is the latest.
Oh, dude, this is my best, Glenn.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that. Give him a triple ding, baby. Dan McMillan, we are appreciative of your Patreon support. We will be getting you your goodies very soon. Another quick shout out to Ben Klepse, even though we already shouted him out. We don't mind shouting that guy out a few times. Thank you for the sample we're drinking today. What a baller. All right. Old Fitzgerald, 11-year, bottled and bond, fall 2024. I had to look into this one, but we actually have featured an Old Fitz Decanter Series bottle on the podcast. That was the 13-year bottled and bond from spring 2019. So that's been a while. It's been a while.
Hey,
so this
I'm pouring
is
mine now.
I forget what episode it was. What's that?
I'm pouring mine now real quick. Found North says I need to pour a considerable time distance before drinking. So
should I do that?
I'm pouring mine now. Yeah, let's do it. It's supposed to be good. I want to give, I'm sure we'll explain more later, but I want to give this pour as much as I can for it to be successful.
Give it all you got.
I know. I want to give it everything it needs to be successful here because I want this to be successful.
I want it to be good too. I want to give it every chance it has to be a good pour. I don't remember what episode that was, but this is, of course, our second episode featuring the brand. They have a few good releases, or good few releases is what I wrote. But I wanted to go over a general history of the brand. So there's a few stories about a guy named Johnny Fitzgerald. That's not Johnny with a Y. That's John E. Fitzgerald. One is that he built a distillery. This is a legend. He built the distillery in the 1870s, selling premium bourbon, initially available exclusively to railroad and steamship lines. Another legend was that he was originally an Irish master distiller that came to America to make bourbon. But at least according to some bourbon historians, he was actually a bonded U.S. Treasury agent for the government in early days of Stitzel Weller. He was apparently a sneaky and thirsty agent at that. He would often apparently sip from the barrels, the good barrels at that, especially on the 5th floor, they said, according to legend. Originally, it was a rye recipe bourbon. So mostly corn, and then the remainder would probably be rye and barley. But when it was acquired by Pappy Van Winkle during Prohibition, they introduced a wheated mash bill bourbon to the recipe, replacing the rye with wheat. In 1999, Heaven Hill bought the brand. I believe it was from Diageo at the time. And this was apparently just right. I got to look more into this, but 1996 was a bad year for Heaven Hill. This was when they had the fire in Bardstown that really took out like almost all of their distillery, apparently. Devastated their Bardstown distillery. Anyway, revived the brand, the old Fitzgerald brand, in 2018 with the launch of the Bottled and Bond Decanter series, featuring biannual releases and every now and then. Do you know what the red label is called, Bryan?
Very, very special.
Yeah, VVS, baby. And that's the red label. Otherwise, the green labels are the spring releases and the black labels are the fall releases. What makes Old Fitzgerald special is, first of all, their wheated mash bill. 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% multi-barleys, contributing to a softer, apparently, texture and profile. Not texture, mostly profile. They are always bottled in bond. So beyond always being 100 proof, they are always obviously at least 4 years, but the minimum on this line was 8 years. And the barrels were aged in government bonded warehouses. And that seems to be a nod to John E. Fitzgerald, the bonded agent, at least the bottled and bond part, because that's the thing is like the story is that only bonded bourbons and ryes and stuff like that need to be in special warehouses that have access from the government. And so I think that's why they're doing all bottled and bond on these releases, is because of, a nod to John E. Fitzgerald. Decanter style packaging, inspired apparently by the original 1950s Old Fitzgerald Diamond Decanter. They're pretty. You got one near you?
I have obviously not diamond, but yeah.
Oh, it's diamond. Boom. Yeah. But yeah, they're kind of cool looking bottles. Nice topper. But there have been 14 releases up until this point of the spring and fall releases. And there have been 3 VVS, very, very special bottlings since 2018. We typically see age statements from 8 to 19 years. And here's the info on the top 4 ages in descending order or ascending order. Fall of 2019 was 15 years old. That was the oldest at the time. And then the oldest at the time was in 2020 with their VVS, which was a 16-year. The spring 2022 was a 17-year. And that was the oldest at the time. And then it was beat out that same year in the fall with a 19-year bourbon. Retail prices vary depending on the age statement usually. Like, for example, that 19-year was $240 retail, but the spring 2024 10-year release was $140. What we're drinking today is the fall 2024, obviously a Heaven Hill product, and obviously a wheated mash bill at 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malty bees. Came out in December of 2024 and is 11 years aged. This one specifically was $155 retail. And that's what you call a history right there.
Nice. Side note on those VVSs, man.
Yeah.
I can't even remember who it was, but somebody said that the recent VVS was like the best whiskey of all time or best whiskey of the year. I don't remember what they said, but it just made everyone go crazy about it. And like secondary value as an indicator as to how much people are going crazy about it. I want to say it was originally around 800 or something when it came out, but it has skyrocketed. I say
really?
Skyrocketed. It is, maybe 1200, 1300. I even saw
Isn't it like a 13-year or something like that? I forget what the yearage is.
Can't remember.
The age.
The yearage. Yeah. What's your yearage?
How yearage are you? Yeah, go on.
Anyway, there's way more demand than supply, and therefore people are testing the waters to see what they can get for it. And I want to say I even saw somebody like today saying 1,500 for that thing. Nice. It's just like absolutely insane. I'm sure would love to try it, but the way that it's gone up in value, I've totally written it off as something I'm ever going to get to try.
You know what? We should do a what whiskey would you choose on, like, you're given like $3,000 and you can only buy like 3 or 4 bottles. What are you buying?
Oh,
and secondary prices only.
Oh yeah, right. But like, you could buy one $3,000 bottle, or you could buy 3 $1,000 bottles.
Keep it below 4 bottles, and you're given like $3,000. What are you buying?
Nice.
And secondary prices only. I would probably get easily. I would get. I mean, I already have a seasoned wood, so that's kind of off the table. But I would be stoked to buy a 2021 William LaRue Weller. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, dude.
Pure. I can't even say that. I can't even. Like the best word I can think of. No, I can't. Oh, I can even. The best word I can think of for that pour was heavenly. Like, nice. There is no better way to describe that whiskey than heavenly. It was just glorious. It was amazing. All right, nose notes. Oaky,
leather.
I'm just getting oaky.
I am getting
at first.
Musty oaky, musty leather. There's a wet, damp dankness about this too for me. I did cut you off though, if you want to keep going.
No, you're good. No, I actually did pick up leather while you were talking, but I also realized that every time I sniff this, I want to cough. So that's something to be said, even though I'm not getting like straight up alcohol vapors.
That feeling,
it's only 100 proof.
Yeah, that feeling usually is why I say dusty. Usually it's like there's something that's like, if I inhale too sharply, it will make me cough, but it's not like an ABV sting. That's usually when I'm saying like dusty musty.
Yeah. All right. I'll give my notes before I give my impression. It is still oaky. It is sweet, but not fruity sweet. It's little brown sugary, white sugary mix with oak. It's as if you like put oak cubes, charred oak cubes in a glass and made tea out of it and added a little bit of sugar. That's what I'm getting. But nothing more. But then again, some people love oaky. Some people just love straight oaky. And this is only an 11-year. It's more oaky than I would expect an 11-year to be. But I will say this. Coming into this episode, and this is partly why we say we want to give this the best fair shake we can give it. I have never been really impressed by Heaven Hill's weeded bourbon mash bill. Like Larceny doesn't really impress me. Larceny Barrel Proof doesn't really impress me. Old Fitz has never really impressed me. So far, it's just not my kind of bourbon. But I could see people enjoying this. But if I'm just going to go over my preference, this is not something I would buy so far. So far. Who knows what the ice pour will do? Who knows what the water pour will do?
Man, he went through a whole That Don't Impress Me with no Shania Twain reference.
That don't impress me much. Oh,
there we
so your old Fitz. That don't impress me much. All right. While you're talking, I'm going to grab ice because I forgot to grab that.
Oh, nice. Please run downstairs. Okay. So, boy, do I have a lot to say. He's not even here. This is great. Solo podcast mode. I entry buzzed on the 8 and 10 year, the previous two releases. And my sentiment about these, which I didn't do this blind. So I mean, I'm kind of doubling down on what I already thought. But what I already thought was the 8 year is so much better than the 10 year. The 8 year fall 23 is so much better than the 10 year spring 24. The 8 year fall 23 has a lot of classic bourbon notes, and it has decent age. It does not. I think the weeded component really shines through here. But the 10 year spring 24 has this ridiculous, weird, like floral thing going on. That like the 10 year is just a completely different whiskey to me. And then now that we're moving into this 11 year, which was fall 24, 11 year fall 24, it's back to the good oak classic bourbon that I really like. And I get all the oak, I get plenty of age. I think it's very good, but it's not very diverse with its flavors, like Cole mentioned. There's not a lot of fruit going on here, but I do get plenty of sweetness, plenty of oak, and the sugars and the realm that we're in, it is almost butterscotchy. I almost get Werther's butterscotch candy from this, but it's kind of like it's like a sugar-free butterscotch. It's like a sugar-free vanilla.
I can see that actually. It's like a synthetic sugar butterscotch.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with this. I will say, to lean into my score a little bit, and we're only on the neat pour right now, but like I do think that this is my favorite Old Fitzgerald that I've had so far. Of all the three that I'm talking about right now. I've never had a 19 or a 17 or anything like that. But I think that this one beats out the last two Old Fitzgerald releases.
Nice. Hey, it's the oldest of the ones you had. So I just...
I should sip the watered down Larceny now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sipping the watered down Larceny now.
Is it a barrel proof? Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, Larceny barrel proof.
Which variety? Which year?
Which flavor? It is the B523.
I got a B521.
Oh, that's an old boy.
Yeah, baby.
B523 was my favorite Or no, wait. What am I? I think C922 is my favorite, but this one's a close second. That's what it is.
Nice.
I will say the watered down Larceny Barrel Proof at 100 proof. That's not confusing at all. Has so much more caramel and brown sugar, like so much more. It is traditional bourbon to the max, but the youth really shines through on this at 100 proof relative to the old Fitzgeralds. So
Do you prefer
I think I might prefer it to the 10-year floral spring 24 that I talked about.
But not
earlier.
The 11-year.
No, definitely not. The 11-year, Ben's 11-year and my 8-year definitely beat Larceny at 100 proof.
I had the ice or the water pour. The nose wasn't better. It was a little more like synthetic sugar. But the palate wasn't better either. It wasn't. It was on the verge of bad. It was one of those bourbons that just doesn't get better with ice or with water. But who knows? Maybe ice will change everything. You never know until you try. We try, so you don't have to.
I mean, I believe
you should.
Maybe you are.
What's that? Maybe you are. I bet Ben's at this point, by the time this comes out, I bet Ben's listening to it or watching it while he's drinking it.
I sure hope so. Last neat sip for me, I get a lot of vanilla on this. On the palate, it's very vanilla and synthetic. I'm going to say vanilla and sugar-free butterscotch. That's what this palate is for me. I'm doing just a smidge of water. I mean like 2 drops. I can't see the top of my water, and I'm trying to dip my pipette in there, and I'm not getting anything. But anyway, I'm just going to do like...
I barely know it.
Hey. Oh man, my dad would appreciate those jokes. He was always of the hardly newer jokes. He liked those.
Robbie was good at that too.
Anyway,
no, go ahead.
I mean, 100 proofer, I can see how water doesn't do this any favors. So I just did like 2 drops. Let me see what this does here.
Nope. This is a matter of preference, but I do not love this. I'm on the verge of I wouldn't even spend $60 for this.
Oh wow. It got really bitter with water, actually.
Yeah. It kind of got weird, like floral opened it up in a weird way. Same with the ice pour for me.
I'm gonna respect the whiskey and just put ice in this 2 water drop pour here. I don't want to pour more for the ice. Ben is not one to be inclined to add ice in general, so he will be happy to hear that he does not need to add ice to this. I assume.
Yeah.
It smells like tea.
Oak tea. That's the biggest note I'm getting. It's like oak tea, and I don't love it, but I love Ben.
Okay, synthetic sugar ramped up to 10 to 11. Wow,
to 11,
ramped up to 11. Yeah, I just, if it wasn't obvious enough, don't add water, don't add ice, and it's don't add water, don't add ice, and it's the best Old Fitzgerald of the last year or two.
Nice. I have a score for this.
I know. We speed ran the water and ice pour. This was great.
We did. I got to look at the rating scale because I'm trying to do both.
Yeah. Okay. I'll work my way up. I'll work my way up here. Okay. So I got hung up. I started in the middle and I got a little hung up here. So let's see how much I want to go up from C average. Averages gets lost amongst other whiskeys in the cabinet. Pros and cons are even. I do think so. I didn't really have any. Well, the con was that it wasn't very diverse in its palate notes. So I might go C plus. I think that this is a little above average which is why it gets a C+. It doesn't get lost. I mean, how could it get lost? The bottle is friggin' gorgeous. But we're not assessing.
That's how they get you.
I know. Yeah. We're not assessing bottle prettiness on this show.
Yeah.
The whiskey itself, though, this one stands out as an above average Old Fitzgerald release from what I've tried. And it stands out above other 100 proof bottled in bonds that I've tried too. I do believe this has a heavier, weightier mouthfeel. I think there's more viscosity here than other just 100 proof bottled in bonds that I've had.
Yeah.
So while I would weight Wilderness Trail bottle and bond wheated higher than this,
much higher,
which I have directly compared the 8-year Wilderness Trail wheated bottle and bond to my 8-year Old Fitzgerald bottle and bond, and the Old Fitzgerald just destroys it. And it's actually one of my favorite blinds.
It beats wheated Wilderness Trail.
No, other way around. Sorry if I wasn't clear.
Yeah, you said the Fitz destroyed it.
Let me be very clear. Thank you. Old Fitzgerald loses miserably to the Wilderness Trail 8-year wheated. And that is my favorite blind comparison to give people. I gave it to your drinking buddy. Nice. Just a twofer. He did a YouTube short. God, nice. Probably by now it's been about 9 months ago. He did a YouTube short where he drank mine blind and then revealed that it was the 8-year bottle and bond from Old Fitzgerald versus the 8-year bottle and bond from Wilderness Trail. And both wheated anyway. And he agreed too, though the Wilderness Trail won.
It's beautiful. Strawberry-y, fruity, sweet. It's
So I will say that those Wilderness Trails beat these Old Fitzgeralds, but these Old Fitzgeralds, especially this one, the 11-year fall 2024, is pretty good. I'll give it a C+. It's a little above average.
That's cool. I'm going to give it a C. I was considering giving it a C-, which would be like something makes you think this is not great. To me, it's just a matter of preference. I could see some people loving this pour. I personally, wouldn't even spend $50-$60 on this. It's just not for me. The oakiness is front and center and nothing much else to me. So that's why I give it that score, because I think it's all right. But
that's a good call with the price assessment there. A blind pour. I think I would guess that this was maybe 7 years tops. And I think that I would guess that it was,
I agree,
like a $70 bottle. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is so far I haven't had the recent VVS one. So far, I have never been blown away by a wheated bourbon from Heaven Hill. So we'll see. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll impress me. But yeah, I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
I hate to say this is one of those episodes where I'm like, I hate to be mean, but it's also nice that it's a big distillery with a nice following, because I'm like, hey, you guys can take it. And I don't want to be the biggest jerk to a smaller distiller who's doing their best. Which reminds me, Wilderness Trail is dope. So that's all I got.
They're not so small anymore, and they're owned by Campari now, so you can be as ruthless as you'd like.
Dude, I was so grateful to have Pat Heist on.
I know. Dr. Pat Heist, thank you very much.
Dr. Heist. Yeah, exactly. But that was so cool because he was such a scientist, and I love Wilderness Trail and I love science. So we gotta
if I'm conducting a heist, if I'm conducting a heist, I want Dr. Heist on my team, no doubt.
Dude. Like a John E. Fitzgerald type heist.
It all comes together now.
That's why they call it larceny. No, but it is. But yeah,
that is why they call it larceny.
Yeah. So, all right. Now that we talked about our ratings, let's just scooch. Oh, I never gave my score rating. I'm gonna give this a 7.9. A sad score for a highly repped bourbon. And now that we've given our full ratings, let's scooch on over to our next segment of the show, a segment we like to call Whiskey World News.
All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Whiskey World News, and today we are reading an email, not an article, an email from good friend of the podcast, Corey McCauley. We love Corey McCauley from Sazerac.
Corey's great.
Corey says, it has been nearly 1 week after floodwaters reached their peak at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Signs of normalcy have returned to the distillery. Supported by cleanup and restoration efforts by hundreds of professionals, removal of floodwater debris damage is more than 75% complete. Power has been restored to key areas of the distillery, which has allowed craft bottling inside Blanton's bottling halls
Nice.
and the main hall operations to resume. The interiors of buildings have been emptied of water and restoration efforts have begun. I love that the need to say that Blanton's is bottling line has resumed is like number one priority.
Maybe that's just the name of the hall.
Oh,
like maybe everything's done in warehouse Blanton's bottling hall. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I might be wrong.
Yeah. Starting Monday, April 14, Buffalo Trace Distillery reopened to visitors with a limited retail experience. Modified visitor offering includes a small pop-up shopping experience inside the Freehouse building with opportunities to purchase select bottles and complimentary tastings and blah, 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 blah. It sounds like they are shaping up just fine. They have cleaned up about 3/4 of what needs to be cleaned up. I imagine it's going to take a long time for that remaining water and moisture to be wicked out of the walls and everything. But
yeah,
I realized we hadn't talked about the flood at all on this.
Yeah.
So I assume that you heard about this.
So I wanted to do two things in talking about this, even though you chose the article. I want to send you a link real quick, and I will.
All right.
But have you ever been to Buffalo Trace?
No, I've never even been to Kentucky as a state, actually.
Wow. Okay.
One of these days.
So it's a really, really cool site. You're seeing everything from cool warehouses to some brick warehouses to some wood warehouses to a bunch of different stuff. But if you go into the like gift shop area, like the main like visitor center, you'll see a specific room, and it's behind bars. Like there's literally like prison bars. And it's on the second floor, which was probably a good idea. And for those who have been to Buffalo Trace, probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But they have pretty much every release they've ever done, every like special release they've ever done for Buffalo Trace behind these bars. And I sent you a picture, Brian. Did you see it? Are you looking at it right now? So you can't see the bars, but there are like literally prison bars protecting this room from people. And there's every single like antique collection bottle. There's every single E.H. Taylor bottle. There's every single OFC bottle. There's every single Van Winkle bottle that they produced. All this stuff. And it's super cool to see that room, but it's on the second floor. And I assume that their first floor probably got at least 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 5, maybe even 5 feet of flooding. But they recovered pretty quick. So maybe a little less than that. But I was only thinking during this time of that room, and this would be an interesting, but we're not going to do it today. What whiskey would you choose? What whiskey would you grab from that room if you could only grab one before you dipped out to save that from the flood?
When the impending flood waters are coming, which whiskey do you grab off the shelf?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
what's hilarious?
So
from the link that you sent, like Google image results search, and there were a couple other options too. The picture that you sent Not whoever posted this picture, or wherever they posted it on some article or something, it crops off the top shelf completely. And like the top
really?
shelf, yes,
Is the
top
shelf
shelf
to
is
look
where
at?
I know it's where all the like E.H. Taylors and like Pappy Van Winkles and everything are. And like the picture that whoever this is that posted on their website, like, yeah, there's BTAC on here, but it's predominantly like Sazerac Ryes and Buffalo Traces. So I'm not sure they knew what they were looking at.
Oh, wow. So did you see the one I just sent you? And if you click
Oh, hang on,
one over on
oh, nice. Yeah.
the like scroll images, you'll see
Yeah.
like
I'm there now.
everything. You'll see all the Stag
Yeah.
releases. You'll see all the E.H. Taylor releases. You'll see a cured oak box on the ground.
You know what I see? You know
What's
what I
that?
see? I see the Van Winkle box that I
Yep.
saw at
The
Bourbon
25-year.
Charity.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the Bourbon Charity Van Winkle in a box.
Where the box is charred like a charred barrel. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double Eagle, very rare. OFCs.
Yes, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
So
picture.
that's what I would. So yeah, I'm grateful that Buffalo Trace is recovering well. And some distilleries wouldn't. Some distilleries would like literally have to go under. But I'm sure they had a great insurance policy, and I'm sure they have enough money to take care of this stuff. But I'm grateful that these bottles weren't destroyed, because it is a glorious room. Beautiful.
You know, also in a previous release, I'm skimming for it now, but I'm not seeing it. They gave a statistic for how many barrels they expect to be impacted from this, and they really said it was
not
minimal.
much. Yeah.
They,
it's negligible. Yeah.
In the same breath as saying that they hold their quality to the highest standards, and they will make sure that everything is going to taste the same way that it's already tasted. They said that they don't expect hardly any barrels to be impacted from this flooding at all, which is pretty impressive, actually.
Seriously.
Like, someone has to do some serious like material analysis, time of wood versus water absorption, like calculations here to figure out how these sealed barrels are going to incorporate water at all. But that's all. I hope they do some serious analysis on this. And the guy who gets to do this, that sounds like the perfectly nerdy whiskey world melding job here. That sounds amazing.
It's a great call, because like, do you expect the bad things from like the flood to infuse into the whiskey if it were to come in contact with the barrel? Or maybe the wood itself would filter anything out.
Yeah, because the whiskey makes its way through the wood, but the flood water makes its way through the wood, and marry the two shall meet. Yeah.
Yeah. But will the bad, like, here's the thing, is like, even if bad microbes from the flood got into the barrel, it'd probably be killed by the alcohol. So it's like still good whiskey too. So it's like, look at that flood, 2025 flood E.H. Taylor coming right up next to Double George Very Stag.
The hilarious thing is somebody did an E.H. Taylor single barrel pick where they called it flood surviving. Like, that was their like name for the pick.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
They like, they themed their own bottles where they like dipped, or they themed the tubes.
Yeah.
So that the like bottom third of the tube was dipped into like blue wax, so it looked like water, like a water line across the middle of the bottle or the barrel or the tube. Yeah, you get it. You get it. Anyway, that has come to fruition now. It has actually happened now.
Yeah, dude, did you hear it was like 40 something feet above regular river level or something like that? It was crazy.
40? No, I had no idea that it was 40. I mean, I saw photos of like a door where you like had a good frame of reference for where the door handle was, and you could see where the water was up to the door handle. But like, I had no idea to what extent that was above the normal water
if you've
level,
been to the distillery, you'll know where the river is in comparison to like the hill that it's kind of on, and that makes sense. Like 40 something feet makes sense when you think about where the actual river. It's not like near the river bend, like the river like level. It's like way above. So like seeing that like most of the distillery had at least some damage on the lower level, it was intense. The river stuff, like unrelenting is the word that they used often, was the rain.
I believe it. Totally believe it.
All right.
Now
well, it's time for what whiskey would you choose?
Yeah, let's unrelentingly move into what whiskey would you choose. So previously we asked you between these two 80 proof whiskeys, which one would you choose to sip? Would you choose to sip the Dunedin, New Zealand 18-year single malt, or would you choose to sip Jameson?
Come on.
As you might expect, by the way that I read that, the results were that 69% of people would choose to sip the Dunedin, New Zealand 18-year single malt, and 31% would choose to sip Jameson. Cole, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's Jameson. It's Jameson.
I know, right? Yeah. At least 31% of people would rather sip an Irish whiskey than take a gamble on some New Zealand
risk stuff. Yeah.
But anyway, we put it to you. We said, what is your favorite 80 proof whiskey? And you came back and you, Marco and AZ, said Jameson Black Barrel. He's with you on the Jameson train here.
But just a higher end.
Oh, see, I don't know anything. So Jameson Black Barrel.
They make it for a reason. It's probably not worse.
Oh, okay. These barrels are black. What should we call this? Jameson Black Barrel. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Paul Clarkson, 21, he wrote in, he said Redbreast 15-year.
Yeah, I changed my answer to that. I didn't even know Redbreast 15.
100%. Me too. 100%. I mean, 50%. Madtown marketer Ben Klepsik, the sponsor of this episode, wrote in and said Connemara 12-year peated Irish whiskey. Peated Irish whiskey. I don't think I ever had one of those before.
You never had Connemara? Yeah.
I don't think so.
And for the record, I hate to say it, Paul, but apparently Redbreast 15 is 92 proof.
Oh no.
You're disqualified.
Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing?
Okay. What you doing?
Yeah, that's so. We'll have to edit that out, man. That's embarrassing. Yeah.
No.
We all believe you say that.
We all learn.
Whiskey with Max wrote in. He said Isla Mist 8-year Isla Mist. I don't know what that is. Should I know what that is?
It's probably like the blended version. It's probably like the famous grouse version of an Isla or Scotch.
Nice. Okay. Cole doesn't know either, so I don't feel bad for not knowing.
I've seen the label, I think.
Oh, this is great. Another one. Cody Clark says not quite 80 proof, but 10 cup 14er. Yeah, I mean that's pretty close to 80 proof, and it's pretty good. So Whiskey Shaman wrote in, he said Aberlour.
Blended, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, okay,
Aberlour 12.
And it is 80 proof, right? Very important.
Let's find out, Max. Yes, it is.
Oh man. Whew, that would be so embarrassing. Oh, man.
No.
We love Whiskey Shaman says Aberlour 12. He said something else here too. He said Natterjack blended Irish. I could see how blended Irish would also be 80 proof. I believe it. Wait, Middleton Very Rare Dramhound says Middleton Very Rare 2023. First off, I don't know if Middleton Very Rare is very proof from year to year, but I didn't know that they were 80.
Yeah, it's 80 proof.
80 proof.
Look at that.
Oh, how about that?
I agree with that too. Actually, I changed my answer to that. Didn't even realize.
Dude, I don't know. I've had a Middleton Very Rare or two, and I might stick with the Redbreast 15 years still.
Dude, well, Redbreast 15 years disqualified.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
But here's the thing about Middleton and Redbreast, same distillery.
Oh, that's right.
Both single pot still.
Yeah, I forgot about that. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm asking you a question now. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Which of your bottles is the most requested to try when friends come over? There's a balance here too, because it's not just like what's the most coveted. It's like your friends know that maybe they shouldn't always ask for Pappy 20 every time they come over.
Yeah.
What is the most requested bottle that when your friends come over, they have the gumption to ask for a sample of?
So I don't have friends. So I'm going to leave that right there. No, I don't have whiskey friends in general. I have people that enjoy whiskey, but I don't have like connoisseurs like you do sometimes. And then again, you have a mixture of friends. You have some connoisseurs and some that are just like into whiskey. I don't have many that are like that know the difference between A.H. Taylor and Jack Daniel's, something. But there is something that I often find I offer it and they're very down. And that's Yamazaki 18. Since I still have a little of that on the shelf, that is definitely a one that people are very impressed by as well. So that's
nice.
Probably my answer. Yam 12, Yam 18.
Shout out to Brandon Chamness on that one. He might have been the most previous friend to sip that. Actually,
not maybe. Yet. Not in fact. There was one 2 weeks ago that I shared with it. Yeah.
So that is your go-to dish out to friends. Then I feel that's like a parallel.
It's probably
what
more that.
Would you choose question here. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what my is and it kind of applies to both what we just discussed here, and I'm pointing at it on the YouTube feed right now. It's right here by my head.
A John or Abraham, or I'm sorry, a John, not a John J, a Smith Bowman cast strength.
It is an A. Smith Bowman. It is a John J, Abraham cast strength. Yes, correct. It is the number 2 release of the John J. What? You got me confused now.
Throw it up. Throw it off.
Cast string. Whew, thank you very much for that.
So you've had that one, and it's good. It's good. Yeah. It's good. What's that? The 9-year?
That is the 11-year hazmat.
Okay, gotcha. But you've had the Sweet 16, Abraham, right? Right.
Yes.
And that destroys it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
But that's okay. Everything is destroyed by Sweet 16.
That's true. Yeah. I did say 11-year hazmat. It is a 10-year hazmat, but Sweet 16 was like a whole nother level, as Cole would say.
Another level. Yes. But that doesn't make it bad, the A. Smith Bowman cast strength batch 2.
Yeah. I tell you what.
It shows how great it is.
I'll tell you what. Also, so this batch 2 is 10-year hazmat. Batch 3 was 9-year not hazmat. Batch 4 was back to 10-year, but also not hazmat. I tell you what, they're all pretty much the same level. They're like don't, if you're ever in the position for some reason somehow, don't pay a premium for a Smith Bowman cast strength release that's hazmat. They're all fantastic. They're all super good. But this one, of course, gets a little extra, I don't know, clout, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Because it's a 140. Actually, it's 144, right?
I want to say. Yeah.
144.5. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Did you ever try batch 1?
Yes. Your generosity.
Nice.
Yes. Your generosity, you so graciously gifted me a sample of the release
pre-hosting too.
Yeah, I know, right? I was just a mere listener at the time.
You were just a Patreon member at that point. Generous. A baller,
right?
Let's. Okay, we don't know what we're drinking next week.
We do know what we're drinking on the episode that will come out a week from this one.
Actually, that's a good point. We do know what we're drinking next week, but we're not going to put it up to a vote. What are we drinking again?
Let me look here.
Rabbit
I
Hole.
don't remember. We are drinking Rabbit Hole.
High Gold.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. High Gold. Cast strength. And you can find that at nowhere because it was a single barrel.
You can find that in the future. Oh, the episode.
You can find that in the future. You can find that next week on Monday. But that's what we're drinking. Anything else before we close it out, Bryan?
Dude, no, I'm hoping that Sam and I have a very eventful New Zealand trip. We got everything pretty much squared away, so it should be good.
Yeah, no, I hope you do too. And I hope I can plan some fun PTO myself because I need some time off. I need some break. I need a break. Dude needs a break. But I hope we all had by the time this episode comes out a fantastic Easters with your family. And I hope you don't have diarrhea since Easter's. But most of all,
I just can't.
Family, friends.
That one got me.
I hope family, friends, listeners, viewers, fun people, amazing people. We hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits. Yeah, no more shaking babies.